Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, and Your Royal Highness the Chief, it's my pleasure to address you today. My position is that I'm Global Head of Metals and Mining and Natural Resources for Investec. Investec is, as you probably know, an African bank, and it's been my great pleasure to be involved with Africa for the last 25 years of my career. I started my career, might be better, yeah. I started my career as a miner, working in the gold mines in South Africa, and I think it's fair to say that I've done more investment banking and investment deals in Zambia than any other investment banker in the world, so the list is amongst many is Teal Mining, together with my dear friend Caesar Sawali from Pangea Securities here. I don't know whether he's here today, but we did the listing at the back. We did the listing together of First Quantum on the Lusaka Stock Exchange. I've been involved as a director of Zambezi Resources, Zambezi Nickel, and I consider myself as an ambassador for Zambia and its mining industry in the investment markets globally. Pleasure to be here. Gemfields has invited me to speak. As such, I have no formal relationship with Gemfields, just to make that clear. We have invested as Investec in Gemfields, and we consider Gemfields to be the flag bearer of the emerald industry in Zambia in international markets, and as such, it has a very, very important place. So, just to start off my presentation, and I apologise for those who may not read this from the back, but the emerald industry in Zambia is an asset of national importance. I would say that this is an industry which is in its infancy. Because at the moment, when I first started looking at the emerald industry in Zambia, it was in a chaotic state. What Gemfields has done, and the other mining companies, had beginnings of order to that industry, but it's still an industry in its infancy. It's an asset of national importance because some people say the green in the Zambian flag is copper. I would beg to differ with that. It's emeralds and copper. And the Zambian government is rightly concerned about maximising the value of products mined in Zambia and recouping the appropriate taxes. But it's very important that this industry, which is in its infancy, is not expected to do too much before it can actually walk. Zambia is seen by international investors as a sensible investment destination with good government and asset security. Now, needless to say, it's very important that Zambia does not damage that image. And I think back to about, 3 or 4 years ago, when Zambia suddenly announced that it was going to impose taxes on the mining industry without any consultation. Now that was a hugely damaging move, and it's very important from where I sit as an investment banker, as a person who invests in Zambia, who advises people on investing in Zambia, that the government does not make moves which have horrible repercussions later on. Investors globally are happy to provide risk capital. A lot of yesterday's discussion was that the Zambian emerald industry needs investment, needs risk capital. That very seldom comes in the form of debt. Risk capital is in the form of equity, and the equity investors need to share the risk with the mining company. So really, Gemfields again is an international flag bearer. It's like your champion, and in a way, in my view, and I'll say this completely as an external observer, the latest move to move Gemfields auctions just to Lusaka is like sending your, say for example Zambia got to the Olympic Championships of boxing and we're all waiting for the final and Zambia's boxer approached into the ring with one arm tied behind his back. That is a crazy thing to do. Another good example of moves by government is, and this is a salutary lesson again to Zambia, to be very careful how they approach the international markets, is Indonesia, which Indonesia about a year ago suddenly approached, without consultation, decided that they would ban all exports of unrefined goods. Indonesia went from an acceptable investment destination to an unacceptable for investment overnight. The intention was good. The intention was good. No, there's no doubt about that. The idea of value add, which we heard a lot about yesterday, is good. But the result of the handling was catastrophic for Indonesia and it hasn't recovered. And I have to say that if Gemfields, as your standard bearer in the international markets, catches a cold, the whole of Zambia, investment in Zambia, will catch a cold. Now my role today is to really sort of draw some thoughts from the diamond industry and lessons that we can learn there. My experience has been a long experience of diamonds and of precious stones, coloured gemstones. It's an industry which I have a personal passion for. I like precious stones, I like to the various colours. So the problem with emeralds, as two of our distinguished speakers spoke about yesterday, they are not a commodity. One piece of copper, if it's the same size, is exactly the same price as another piece of copper the same size. That is not the case with Gemfield, with emeralds at all. One emerald is not the same as another emerald. They may be the same weight, the same size, but they're not. One could be 1,000 times more valuable than the other. And that's a serious issue. Emerald deposits in Zambia also are not the same as generally speaking, as diamond deposits around the world. Generally speaking, diamond deposits occur in a pipe-like structure. It's very easily controlled. Let's take aside alluvial diamond deposits, that's different. But the source of high-quality diamonds are generally pipe-like structures which can be structured, can be fenced, can be controlled very carefully. The Zambian emerald sector, in my view, is not properly regulated, and that is the issue, not what Gemfields is doing with their auctions. The issue, as we've heard yesterday, and I was shocked to hear that there are still people running around driving Porsches and big expensive houses, flouting the system, and actually laughing in the face of the Zambian government and in the face of the tax department. Why attack your national champion, put one arm behind his back, when everybody else is laughing and still operating illegally and stealing? And this is even worse, I apologise, but I will just take it, and people are welcome to have a copy of this presentation afterwards. But the industry, the diamond industry, is about 124 million carats of production in 2011, with a value of about $14 billion globally. The emerald industry, as we heard yesterday, is about 1/10 of that globally. Production in diamonds is dominated by three players: Al Rosa, De Beers, and Rio Tinto, of which two of those companies are listed on the international markets. Al Rosa is aspiring to be listed on the international markets as the main Russian player. In emeralds, there's only one listed company, and that is Gemfields. So again, it has a massively important place in the international markets. It is Zambia's standard bearer. Production in diamonds is concentrated in the regular sector, really in Russia, Botswana, Canada, Republic of Congo, and to a certain extent Namibia. That's very similar to emeralds, where we've got Brazil, Colombia, and Zambia, as we heard, with Brazil and Colombia dominating the sector by about 70% of production is from those two countries. Zambia is still, relatively speaking, a baby in this regard, but has massive potential growth. Over the last few years, we've seen the developing countries such as India and China, with an expanding middle class who aspire to luxury goods, dominating the demand for diamonds in particular, and I have to say, growing demand for coloured gemstones. And the diamond market is a very interesting situation, because you've got supply being steadily restricted as ore bodies run out. There's been very, very few new diamond discoveries made over the last 20 years, and I don't see any on the horizon, really. That's not the case in emeralds. Emeralds are relatively common, and it really is, concentrated into where you can get good quality emeralds. Zambia is fortunate as having one of the best emerald districts, and I'm not to say deposits, because it is a district in the world. So Zambia is in a great place to capitalise on growing demand from international, well, particularly from China and India. Obviously, Chinese lucky colour is green, and that's also very important and a major opportunity to capitalise. So the diamond value chain is another very, very important lesson for Zambia as it considers its very much early stage emerald industry. Now, I have to say again, everyone thinks of copper as being Zambia's only real mining industry. Emeralds has got the opportunity to be another champion for Zambia. But things need to be thought through very, very carefully. And the diamond industry has taken many, many years to get to the stage it is now. So the value chain is obviously dig the diamond up, and then rough diamond sales, here, cutting and polishing, and then polished diamond sales, and then jewellery manufacture. Sorry, these colours have all faded out, and then finally sales. And I don't think I've got time to really go through all that today, but the lessons are important. The largest value uplift for diamonds over recent years have been companies like Rio Tinto, who have a diamond project in Australia which produces pink diamonds. Now, over the last 20 years, the diamond industry have focused on unusual diamonds and made them very, very appealing to people. And Argyle pink diamonds are hugely more valuable because people perceive them as being rare. They perceive them coming from an ethically good source, Australia, with no conflict, and they will pay substantially more for a pink diamond, knowing that it came from a secure and investable destination. The same goes for diamonds from Canada, which are relatively new, and they call them ice diamonds, and people will pay a lot more. I think the opportunity for Zambia to produce Zambian emeralds, which are from a good country, secure, not a country which has had any war, peaceful destination, is huge. And Colombia, you could not say the same for Colombia. Colombia is a much more difficult country. Everyone is associated with all sorts of bad things. Brazil, not the case. Brazil is a good place to invest. One feature of the diamond industry has been, and I think this is a key lesson for Zambia, has been the Kimberley process, which is the process of certification. Now, in my view, it's very important that Zambia recognises the opportunities to certify Zambian emeralds. And it's an interesting ringtone. Maybe I should do the same. Or are you trying to tell me if my time's up? So the Kimberley process is an international certification process which addressed a very specific issue, that a lot of diamonds were coming from conflict areas where the diamond sales of those diamonds, rough diamonds I have to say, were funding civil war and child labour, etc., etc., none of the things we like. There are now 54 participants representing 80 countries, and it has been a huge success. And the Kimberley process, really, if you're buying a diamond, as I relatively recently did for my wife, you want to know that it has a GIA certificate and it has a Kimberley, and it has a part of the Kimberley process. I'm not funding civil war, I'm not funding child labour, that it is a recognised source. I knew that diamond came from Botswana, and I was happy with that. Now, you cannot say that enough, that international investors want to know exactly where that stone came from. And they would be very, very happy that it came from Zambia, in the case of an emerald. How exactly the Kimberley process works is probably beyond today's discussion, but it is in my slides. Welcome to have a look. But it has been hugely important in the development of diamond certification. There is a huge opportunity for Zambia in that respect. Rather than legislating that auctions should be held in Zambia, it is important that certification is what needs to be done. So nobody should be running around with emeralds in their pocket, as we've heard. Colombia, that's an offence, that's a jailable offence. This industry needs to be regulated and certificated properly, so that we capitalise properly on this new industry. The Zambian government is missing out far more in terms of tax revenues by allowing illegal emeralds to be traded than they are missing out on holding emerald auctions overseas. So, globally, looking at beneficiation, and this is a contentious issue because it's natural to assume that it would be a good idea to mine the emeralds in this case, in one country, to process them and to cut them and polish them and then sell them that way. That takes a long time. And in the case of the diamond industry, it still is not being done. After all these years, I mean, there's an aspiration of the Botswanan government that De Beers starts to cut and polish, and they have started to do that. And that is a good aspiration, and hearing from our friends yesterday, I think that's laudable, but you must recognise that that takes time. In the case of an Indian cutter, let's say diamond, emerald, whatever, he earns about, as far as I know, $1.90 an hour, maybe $1.60 an hour. The minimum wage in Zambia is $2.90 an hour. So it's a difficult thing to say that it makes sense to cut and polish in Zambia. It's a good aspiration to do so, but economic realities have to prevail. So, De Beers, as I mentioned, De Beers has increased local beneficiation, but it's a aspiration rather than a formal. They're not forcing. No, the Botswanan government is not forcing De Beers to do it. Then I just wanted to look at some diamond price trends. Diamonds recently, as you can see on this chart, the 30 carat stones, which are the smaller ones,
have been increasing in price quite dramatically since the end of last year. And the other sectors of diamonds have been either flat or going up. That is very important when we think about the opportunity for Zambian emeralds, because those prices have been going up. It reflects a shortage, it reflects that people, despite difficult economic environment, people are still buying and willing to pay a higher price for diamonds. Again, this chart shows the different stones. Ruby, how much it can sell for per carat. This is ruby, it can sell for $252,000 a carat. Diamond for 118, sapphire for 70, and emerald so far 62. So emerald has got a long way to go, and Gemfields have done a fantastic job of increasing the value of emeralds globally. They're the ones who are putting the investment into that. The rest of the industry is not. This is in my view, and as I said, I'm just an observer from international markets. This is the problem, that when Zambia imposed the fact that Gemfields have to auction their goods in Zambia. Sorry. Anyway, there was a significant price drop per carat. And also, anyway, it doesn't matter. There was a significant price drop, and also Gemfields' share price, as I said. Okay, here we go. No, that one. This is the drop per carat. Substantial drop, because when all the buyers have to fly all the way to Zambia, and it's you know, we all know it's a great country to come to, but it's difficult because there's several flights. It's not the easiest place to get to. There'll be less people coming here, and there'll be less potential buyers, and therefore you will suffer you will not be achieving the best price for your emerald. Simple as that. And more importantly, as I said, Gemfields is like the national champion of Zambia for emeralds in the international markets. They see Gemfields, they don't see anything else. They don't see all the other mines. When the government announced this change, the share price of Gemfields dropped substantially. That is not good. This is your national champion going into the boxing ring in the Olympics with his arm tied behind his back. So, key opportunities for the Zambian emerald industry. In my view, and I'm going to summarise here because I hope to stick to time, the single government regulator for Zambia is the biggest opportunity. And to certify, regulate the industry properly, and that will ensure maximum tax revenue. It will ensure that everybody knows they're on this level playing field. It's easy to target somebody who is got a lot of investment money, has done a great job, but really the Zambian government, in my view, needs to tackle the illegal element, smuggling, theft, illegal operations, etc., etc., and establish a certification system, and gradually establish downstream joint ventures with established industry players to uplift the value of emeralds. But the key thing is to maintain auctions close to local markets, in other words, China and India, where your major buyers are. So, in the interest of time, just to summarise, from an external observer, with no axe to grind here at all, this is a great industry. It has a lot of opportunity, has a lot of potential buyers in the emerging markets. It has a lot of opportunity from Zambia as an ethical destination, but tying the arm of your champion behind his back is not a good idea. And I'll leave you with that thought. Thank you.